They try to keep him down on the depth chart. They try to downplay his leadership. But today, Shedeur Sanders didn't just sign a contract. He made a statement. Big news this afternoon. Shedeur Sanders is now officially the global face of Gatorade. And if you thought that quote was bold, just wait until you see the commercial. I've got the leaked 302 spot where Shedeur literally tosses a sabotage playbook into the trash. Hit that subscribe button and tap the bell right now if you want to be the first to watch the ad the NFL might even try to ban. Click it, and let's dive into the clip. Here's how Shedeur Sanders turned hate into a $100 million deal. Now, about how he structured his contract. He made sure to add an equity clause with Gatorade. This clause wasn't just about being a face on a bottle. Shedeur wasn't just looking for a paycheck. He wanted a stake in the company's future. The deal says, I'm not just here to represent. I want ownership in what's being built. That clause gave him a piece of the pie, ensuring he could benefit from the brand's growth. Shedeur Sanders just pulled off something unheard of. He looked at an offer that could change the lives of 99% of people, a guaranteed $60 million check, and said, no, thanks. Most rookies are scrambling to secure their future, buying houses for their families, buying luxury cars, or simply making sure they're set before they take their first NFL hit. But Shedeur isn't playing the same game. He's not playing checkers, not even chess. He's playing Monopoly. When Gatorade offered the usual endorsement deal, where you get a face on a bottle and a check in your account, Shedeur's team said no. They didn't want the money. They wanted equity. Instead of taking the cash up front, Shedeur negotiated for 3% ownership in Gatorade USA. Let that sink in for a second. 3%. When you consider that Gatorade is a multi-billion-dollar empire that dominates the sports drink market, 3% isn't just endorsement money. It's generational wealth. We're talking about checks that will keep rolling in long after he's retired. And this is just one part of the master plan. From a secret clause in his Nike contract to his father's revolutionary equity strategy for Prime, Shedeur Sanders is on track to become the first active billionaire player in NFL history. He's rewriting the rulebook for sports business in real time. But with all this money, there's a pressure that could break most people. Is Shedeur a genius? Or has he set himself up for a target he can't outrun? What's up? It's Shedeur Sanders, and I'm standing on business. Sports is a business, so you've got to understand, it's not personal, it's business. And you've got to produce. When you produce, then people want you around. But if not, they'll ask, what are you here for? You got to keep that in mind at all times. Now, to truly understand why turning down $60 million was genius, we need to talk about the difference between being rich and being wealthy. Being rich means having a paycheck, like a $60 million lump sum. But here's the thing about cash, it disappears. Taxes take 40%. Agent fees take a chunk. Inflation eats at the rest. If you spend it, it's gone. There are countless athletes who've made $100 million and ended up broke. But wealth? Wealth is ownership. Wealth is equity. By negotiating for that 3% stake in Gatorade USA, Shedeur didn't just get a check. He became a partner in the company's future. Every time a kid buys Gatorade after practice, every time a coach gets a cooler dumped on their head after a Super Bowl win, every time a new flavor hits the market, Shedeur gets a cut. This is the Michael Jordan model, but evolved. Jordan made millions from royalties on shoes. Shedeur's getting equity in the company itself. It's a calculated bet that Gatorade will continue to grow and that his own brand will help fuel that growth. If Gatorade's valuation skyrockets, that 3% could be worth $200 million, $300 million, or more in a decade. Shedeur traded a one-time payday today for an ongoing stream of wealth in the future. It's the ultimate example of long-term vision in a league that thrives on short-term thinking. While most players are fixated on their next contract, Shedeur Sanders is focused on building his portfolio. That shift in mindset is what shook up the Gatorade executives and ultimately led them to sign the deal. When asked about his approach, Shedeur summed it up simply. Best qualities? I'm always smiling. Yeah, always smiling. I'm deeply involved in the business side. I have a vision, and I like seeing it come to life. My purpose and my vision are to position myself to have all the resources I'll ever need. But here's the kicker. The Gatorade deal is just a side dish. The main course? His Nike contract. We got to talk about that because the numbers are nothing short of mind-blowing. Before Shedeur Sanders even played a single NFL snap, reports surfaced that he'd signed a groundbreaking $125 million deal with Nike. Critics went wild. They called it a bubble. They questioned, how can you pay a rookie that much? He hasn't proven anything. He was a fifth-round pick. They called a hype, saying Nike was overpaying for the Sanders name. But Shedeur's team had a game-changer up their sleeve. They knew something those critics didn't. Tucked inside that contract was a special clause, the active player escalator. It was simple, but incredibly powerful. The moment Shedeur Sanders became an active NFL player, whether in preseason or the regular season, the value of his contract would double. Double. So, as soon as he stepped onto the field for the Cleveland Browns in the preseason, that $125 million deal instantly became a $250 million contract over 4 years. That's the kind of money you see in a Patrick Mahomes deal, but it's coming from a shoe company, not an NFL team. This setup shields him from the risks of the NFL. Injuries? Getting benched? Doesn't matter. The Nike money is locked in. And it gets even better. Shedeur reportedly secured a 50% royalty on all his jersey sales. Normally, NFL players get just a small cut of those jersey sales. Most of it goes to the league and the union. But Shedeur broke that mold. He's keeping half the profit, which is unprecedented leverage. That means he's not just playing for the Browns. He's a business partner with them. How is Shedeur pulling this off? How is a rookie dictating terms to billion-dollar companies like Nike and Gatorade? The answer is 2 words: prime equity. This strategy, created by his father, Deion Sanders, is the game changer. In a typical NFL contract or rookie endorsement deal, the team or league usually controls the player's image rights. If a player wants to appear in a commercial, sell merchandise with their likeness, or even be featured in a video game, they need the team's permission. The team owns the intellectual property tied to the player. But Deion and Shedeur said, not for us. They structured Shedeur's path from college to the pros so that he retains 100% ownership of his image rights. He owns his name, his likeness, and his logo. He doesn't need permission from the Cleveland Browns to sign with Gatorade. He doesn't need the NFL's blessing to launch a barbecue sauce. He has full autonomy. This freedom lets him move faster and negotiate harder than any rookie in the league. While other rookies are still waiting for their agents to clear deals with the team's legal department, Shedeur's already sealing the next deal. Prime equity isn't just a catchy name. It's a legal shield protecting his business interests from the NFL's bureaucracy. It allows him to operate like a media company. And it's paying off. Shedeur Sanders has already sold the most jerseys out of any rookie this year. Out of the top 10 jersey sellers, his numbers have matched or even surpassed his NFL contract value, 375,000 jerseys. Sometimes, the brand is bigger than the draft position, and the results speak for themselves. You can argue about his stats. You can argue about his draft position. But one thing you can't argue with? The sales numbers. Despite falling in the draft, despite not being a top 5 pick, Shedeur is winning on his own terms. Shedeur Sanders is redefining what it means to be a rookie in the NFL. Before even playing an official game, he became the first player in history to hit $15 million in merchandise sales, outselling top players and Super Bowl champions. His success comes from building a personal brand that fans follow, not just his team. Thanks to a 50% royalty clause, Shedeur is keeping a large portion of the revenue, turning his fan base into loyal customers, a true CEO mindset in action. His strategic partnership with Tom Brady, worth $75 million annually, not only boosts his credibility, but also teaches Shedeur how to build a post-career empire. With deals across multiple brands like Nike, Gatorade, EA Sports, and AT&T, Shedeur has diversified his income streams, ensuring long-term financial security. He's now the top-selling jersey of his draft class and is seen as more than just a quarterback. He's a business asset. Shedeur's standing on business philosophy means he treats himself as a corporation, managing his brand with the same attention to detail as any CEO. He's involved in every negotiation, which shifts the dynamic in his favor. But this success comes with immense pressure. With major endorsement deals and equity in companies like Gatorade, any failure on the field could result in a media firestorm, questioning whether he's too focused on his brand rather than his playbook. Shedeur Sanders is facing immense pressure as he enters the NFL. With his $250 million deal and major endorsement contracts, critics will label him a marketing gimmick if he doesn't perform on the field. He's flipped the traditional NFL model by securing the bag first and now needing to prove his worth on the field, raising the stakes to an unprecedented level. His journey isn't just about him. It's shaping the future of college sports. As the first true product of the nil era, Shedeur has shown that college athletes can build their brand and wealth before even turning pro. This has set a new precedent, and future recruits will demand the same equity and control over their image rights, shifting power from NFL teams to the players. While Shedeur faces a wave of hate, he's turned it into fuel for his brand, understanding that engagement, whether positive or negative, only boosts his value. He's expertly playing the role of both villain and hero, using psychological warfare to his advantage. Looking ahead, Shedeur's potential is staggering. With lucrative deals and investments in place, he's on track to become a billionaire by 30, not just through football, but by dominating both sports and business. His goal is to join the ranks of business titans like Magic Johnson and Michael Jordan while still making an impact on the field.